Hello, my name is Evelyn Donovan, 30 years old, founder of a tiny AI startup trying to breathe in a world ruled by giants. That night in San Diego, the dinner table turned into a boardroom of betrayal. My sister Tara smiled like a CEO announcing a merger. "Evelyn, I'll buy your dying company for $1. My father laughed, my mother smirked, and the room shrank to silence. I set the glass down, slow, cold against my fingertips. "Good night," I said, and walked away before they saw my hands shake. They thought I was broken. They didn't know I was already rebuilding. "Where are you watching from tonight?" Because this war starts after dinner. The sound of their laughter still echoed when I landed back in Chicago. My apartment smelled like burnt coffee and survival. The hum of my laptop filled the silence as I stared at the numbers bleeding red across the screen. Server costs rising. Clients leaving. Hope thinning. Dad once said, "You're wasting your potential." Funny how failure only counts when it's not under their roof. I opened another spreadsheet. Nothing but zeros waiting to multiply. Then my phone buzzed. Horizon Analytics. My biggest client. My last lifeline. "Evelyn, we're pulling out," their CEO said. His voice was clipped, too polished, like someone rehearsed it for him. It wasn't business. It was sabotage. And in my family, sabotage had a name. Tara Ford. She ran Donovan Solutions, my parents' empire, the one I walked away from. They called her visionary. I called her predictable. I opened my desk drawer, fingers brushing a worn notebook from my early days at Donovan. Inside, half-sketched code, failed ideas, and a page I'd forgotten. Contingency plan. How to shield assets during takeover. Each line read like a message from the version of me that still believed. Backup servers. Encryption keys. Silent moves. I leaned back, letting the cold light wash over me. Maybe the only way to win this war was to stop playing defense. Tomorrow, I'd start moving in silence. A week passed, but sleep never did. Every night, I stared at my inbox like a crime scene. And then, there it was. An email from Nexus Solutions, one of my few remaining clients. "Evelyn, we're reconsidering our contract. Someone from your company said we'd be safer with Donovan Solutions." My breath caught. Someone from my company. I traced the metadata, line by line. The IP address pointed straight to Donovan Solutions. The email was forged. She'd used my name, my domain, to destroy my reputation. Tara didn't just want to win. She wanted me erased. I sat still for a long moment, every muscle tight. Then I opened my notebook, the contingency plan, the blueprint for war. If she wanted a takeover, I'd give her one she couldn't touch. That night, I called Matthew Grant, a mentor from the early days, one of the few who'd ever believed in me. He listened quietly, then said, "Restructure. New LLC. Move everything." Quietly. It wasn't advice, it was strategy. I took notes, my hands shaking just enough to feel real. By morning, my lawyer was on board. We drafted paperwork to create a new entity. Different name, different address, same heartbeat. Every document, every transfer had to be flawless. No leaks, no warnings. Not even Rachel, my assistant, knew. Days blurred into nights. Contracts rewritten, servers mirrored, code encrypted twice. Coffee turned into currency. Every move I made was a whisper in the dark, hidden from Tara's reach. The city outside kept breathing. Elevators sighed. A siren stitched through the cold. I kept working. I rotated keys, split services, and mapped a silent exit. The old shell stayed visible. The real company moved underground. I wrote task lists on sticky notes, then burned them. Printed nothing, spoke less. Let the work hold my fear until it cooled. I archived every proof on a secure drive, duplicated it off-site under another name. If they probed, alarms would sing before anything broke. New routes, decoy logs, nothing left to chance. And then another voicemail. "Aunt Janet. Evelyn, you're tearing this family apart. Just sell. Come back. Delete." Every word from them now felt like static. I had no family in this fight. Only fire. Near dawn, the radiator clicked like a metronome. I rehearsed the conversation I'd never have with Tara. I stopped waiting for permission. I chose momentum instead. By the end of the week, the new company existed. Quiet. Invisible. Legal. Employment agreements reassigned. Licenses transferred. Invoices rerouted. Tara thought she was chasing a dying startup. She had no idea the real one had already moved. The silence I built that week wasn't weakness. It was armor. They forged my voice. I forged a fortress. Morning came with a single chime. A tiny banner slid across my screen. Document completed. The last transfer filed. The fortress sealed. I closed the tab and breathed. The office hummed like a held note. Chicago gray, coffee cold. Then the door swung wide. Tara walked in first. My parents flanked her like security. She smiled without warmth. "Sell for $1, she said. "Or we bury you." Dad's voice filled the room. "This is your last chance, Evelyn." Mom folded her arms, satisfied. "Stop embarrassing the family." I didn't stand. I didn't blink. "The company you want is a shell," I said. Everything moved to a new entity. Different name, different address, same heartbeat. Tara's jaw tightened. "You think legal tricks will save you?" "They're not tricks," I said. "They're protections from your sabotage." Her eyes flicked, just once. I pressed the speaker button. "Sarah," I said, "you're live." My attorney's voice came calm. "All transfers are compliant and perfected." Sarah continued, precise and cool. "We also hold evidence of email forgery, originating from Donovan Solutions infrastructure. Metadata, logs, and client statements. Pursue litigation, and we countersue." Dad stepped closer, face flushed. "We'll drag you through court for years." "You can try," I answered. "But discovery won't be kind." Tara leaned over my desk. "Walk back the conference," she hissed. "Sell us your code, today." I slid a drive across the wood. A decoy, humming with nothing. "That's a mirror," I said. "The real servers are already migrated. Encrypted twice, keys rotated." "You're chasing smoke." She stared at the drive, furious. Mom whispered, "You're cruel." I almost laughed. "Cruel is forging my name," I said. "Cruel is calling it family." Tara pointed at the wall clock. "You have until noon," she said. "Or we go nuclear." "You already did," I answered. And I survived. The room went very still. Street noise faded behind glass. Somewhere, a printer clicked alive. I met my father's eyes. "I'm not for sale." Sarah spoke once more. "Any further threats go to record. Further contact through counsel only. Good day." Tara turned first, brittle and bright. My parents followed, masks slipping. The door shut harder than necessary. Their empire stayed outside. I looked at the blank screen, then reopened the dashboard, steady. Green lights where red once screamed. Quiet where panic used to live. A different silence than before. They brought a takeover. I brought a firewall. If it were you, would you hit speaker and go on record? Or stay silent and handle it alone? Comment 1 for speaker, 2 for silence. And tell me why. Backstage smelled like coffee and nerves. The screen glowed a cold blue. Rachel checked the clicker, then squeezed my hand. "You're ready," she said. I believed her. Finally. The room dimmed. I walked into the light. San Francisco hummed beneath the stage. Packets of whispers, moving air. I began with the product. Operations. Cost cuts. Clean dashboards. A map for small companies to breathe. Charts landed, heads nodded. Then I pivoted. "Innovation fails without integrity," I said. Slides changed. The tone cooled. On screen, email headers and timestamps. Next slide, IP paths and server logs. Source. Donovan Solutions infrastructure. Rose stiffened, then leaned forward. I kept my voice steady. "These emails were sent under my domain," I said. "Warnings about instability. Requests to move. Authored by someone who wasn't me." A hand rose, then fell. A journalist started typing. I continued through the chain. Nexus. Apex. Matching patterns. Each breadcrumb pointed home. I didn't say Tara's name. I didn't need to. Evidence breathes louder than accusations. The room heard it breathing. From the aisle, a figure stood. Matthew Grant took the mic. "I've seen this pressure before," he said. "Same tactics, same house." He let the words settle. A ripple moved through investors. I saw Laura Bennett frown, thinking. I advanced one final slide. Restructured entity. Assets secured. Zero impact from hostile takeover. Someone whispered. "She outmaneuvered them." Another said. "She lawyered it tight." I finished with the product again. Not the scandal. The solution. Always return to the work. Clapping started in the center. It spread like a fuse. I stepped down into shadows. Laura was already moving. We met by the curtain. "I'm out of Donovan," she said. "Ethics are a risk vector. I want to discuss funding." Her tone was firm. Clean. Something unclenched behind my ribs. Then Tara's voice sliced through. "This is slander," she shouted. Evelyn twists facts to hide failure. Cameras swung, faces tightened. She was shaking just enough. I didn't look at her. "I invited verification," I said. "Check the metadata yourselves." The room shifted again. Away from noise, toward proof. A tech reporter called to me. "Will you share the packet?" Yes, I said. After council reviews redactions. Order, not spectacle. Matthew nodded once. Rachel handed me water. My hands were steady now. I had built the silence. Now I used it. Laura offered a card. Monday, she said, my office. We start with diligence. And maybe a term sheet. I didn't smile. Yet. I looked back at the stage. Light still burned on the screen. Not my family's name. Not their empire's shine. Just my work standing up. I didn't light a fire. I turned on the lights. A week later, the fallout arrived in headlines. Donovan Solutions filed bankruptcy. Investors fled. Contracts died mid-sentence. Silence followed the noise. My inbox pinged anyway. An email from my parents. Traitor, you ruined the family. I archived it without opening. Rachel knocked, gentle, then grinned. 3 new clients from the article. Her pride steadied me. So did her presence. Uncle Daniel called that evening. You did it, kid. His voice carried warmth, not leverage. I let it in. Matthew met me for coffee. You didn't just survive, he said. You set a standard. I finally believed him. The city turned gold at dusk. Office lights blinked on, one by one. My dashboard glowed steady greens. No fires, no alarms. Laura scheduled diligence for Monday. Emily reconfirmed her bridge offer. Then David N. called unannounced. I want in, he said. We spoke numbers. We spoke terms. We spoke boundaries first. He said, I respect that. I blocked my family's numbers. I didn't announce it. I just chose quiet. And kept choosing it. At midnight, I walked the hallway. Servers hummed like soft rain. Code deployed without drama. Work spoke for itself. I stood by the window, breathing. Not victory, not revenge. Something cleaner than both. Permission to continue without apology. People say blood defines loyalty. I learned boundaries define respect. I won't be bought cheap again. Not by love. Not ever. My company wasn't a miracle. It was labor, protected by law. It was faith, protected by proof. It was mine, finally. I thought of San Diego. The cold glass in my hand. The $1 offer on the table. The girl who walked away. I'm not her anymore. I don't beg doors to open. I build exits where I need them, and lock what matters behind me. The night felt wider. Chicago breathed through quiet streets. Tomorrow would bring more work. I was ready for it. If this story hit home, share your story below. You're not alone here. Subscribe for more true stories. Like and share to help someone set their boundaries.